Hello, all, and welcome to this week's writing tips. Today, I thought we would talk about short stories. Yes, short stories. I remember when I first started writing, um, I wasn't at all enthralled about the opportunity to write short stories. I actually thought there was no way I could write a short story um, within a 3,000 word limit. I thought it was impossible. I didn't think I could do it at all. Um, and then I did a creative writing course and learned the ins and outs of short stories. Um, so I've been working on a novel for about 4 years in the background. I decided to concentrate on short stories. The reason I did this was there's a lot of benefits to learning how to write short stories, even more benefit in learning how to write flash fiction. So a short story is usually around anywhere from 1,500 words up to 7,999 words. Um, but I decided that I would concentrate on 3,000 word short stories. So I was writing them, that was fine, but I had no way of getting any feedback. So I came across a website called ReadSee, and I spent most of 2022 submitting short stories with prompts, which was even easier to do because you were actually given a theme. And I started submitting those for about 10 months, and I published 26 short stories were published on ReadSee. The reason I did that was because I wanted to learn the craft of writing a short story to a word count, limited word count. And also other things like honing my writing craft. And there's so much to unpack when it comes to short stories, so I won't get into the nitty gritties of it just yet. But from there, I learnt the submission process, which is really important. Critical feedback, reviews, um, also how to write within such a strict deadline that there are so many things you need to learn, like beats, hooks, imagery, sensory details, characterization, world building, all those sorts of things have to be done within 3,000 words. So you wouldn't do a lifespan in a short story. Some people have done that, and of course they've been great. Also, so particularly it would mostly focus on an event. Shorter characters. So you really need to build up your characters. Those are things that you don't really need to worry about if you're writing a novel, because you've got so much room. I mean, you've got up to nearly 120,000 words to play with there. But with a short story, like I said, people generally like to see a short story around about 3,000 words. So, with all that being said, the reason why I did that was to get a sense of satisfaction. You don't really get that sense of satisfaction when you're continuously slogging and slogging and slogging away on your novel, your 100,000 word limit, as opposed to say 3,000. So what I started doing was I put my novel away and I started submitting to Read See. It's one of the world's largest writing competitions. I of course, I send them in hoping to get the prize, but at the end of the day, it was more getting my name out there as well. Um, and also having something to put in towards my CV, especially when I'm wanting to eventually publish novels. I will have a backload of short stories up my sleeve. I've got 40 at the moment, and what I've managed to do is I've compiled them all together, and I am looking towards possibly publishing 100. It's around about 100,500 words at the moment, so it's novel size for all my flash and short stories, which I'm hoping to one day put into an anthology soon enough anyway. But what I've been doing with my short stories is then I decided, since I was doing so well with the short story, my short stories being published individually, I started to submit them to anthologies. And by this stage, so an anthology is a collection of stories from different authors. Most of them come with a theme. And of course, I write horror, so my themes are usually around about horror, weird horror, paranormal, or a supernatural sort of genre. So I was dedicating my time to sending them in. Now, where I found most of the submissions were actually on Facebook, which is actually a really good tool for writers. It really is such a valuable tool, especially for networking with other authors. Sorry, this is going to be a longer video than I thought it was going to be, but I thought I'd like to focus in on short stories. So then I had those published, and then in 2023 I had 7 short stories submitted and published, in anthologies from some really great publishers. So that submission process for anthologies, I think I nailed it anyway, because I already had taught myself the proper formatting, how to self-publish, the submission stage, handling critical feedback, networking with other authors. Also, the feedback is really important. I suggest if you don't have if you really want to work hard on your stories, you need people who are going to read them, or at least give you some sort of feedback. So that's where it's really vital that you jump on your social media platforms, you create your authors pages and stuff like that, and you start looking around Facebook and have a look at what's open for submissions. And that's where I came across like Wicked Shadow Press, who have published 6 of my short stories so far in 2023. The thing about short stories is the accomplishment. It's so fast. There's no waiting around for publishers to get your novel done, books, and I think short stories is the way to get a sense of satisfaction, achievement, like you're actually doing something. It's also, what it's doing is it's keeping your writing brain fresh. Especially if you're submitting every week to consistently to, say, Read See. I know there's other ones out there, but I have had nothing but absolute wonderful things to say about them. And just if you're constantly using your juices in your head, you're going to be able to create stories much faster, and self-editing them a lot more faster as well. And then when you're sending off your short stories to anthologies, you've already learned the process of submitting, how to hone your stories. And I mean, the 7 beats are so important. We'll talk about beats at another stage as well, because they're really vital in short stories. I think I might concentrate more on short stories when I'm giving my writing tips now, because I'm quite good at short stories, I should say, I'm which is quite ironic considering that did not want to have anything to do with short stories. And there might be people out there who are thinking the same thing I am, that why write a short story? What's the point? I've just given you 10 minutes of the idea and the reasons why short stories are so important. So, anyway, that's just food for thought. Have a look around, read some anthologies. They are so much fun. They're like a book full of 100 different stories. Some have poems, some have flash fiction, some are short stories. Read. If you're going to write, you need to read. It's as simple as that. So read some anthologies, see what you think of, and just in the back of your mind think about, okay, I'm writing this novel, but I might need to set it aside so that I can concentrate on something else, because your writing journey is never over. There's so many things you could be doing instead of just sitting there slogging away year after year after year on your novel when you could be doing other things as well. So that's just something to think about. Okay, so hopefully that has helped you think more towards how you can enhance your skills, and one of those is being able to write a good short story, and a successful one that's publishable, and even better, you can actually sell your stories. So that's another side income if you're ever thinking about that. So because there's a lot of authors, a lot of anthology publishers out there who are willing to pay like 10 cents a word, which doesn't sound like much if you're writing a 6,000 word short story. You're looking at like $600 there for your story. I mean, writing's not really until you get very successful at what you're doing. There's other avenues in writing that you can take, just to keep your brain fresh as well. So hopefully that's helped, and we'll catch you later. Okay, thank you. Bye.